how's it going? Okay, I'm on a water walk, as I do once a week. Today's Saturday, actually. I pushed it a bit later because we had some rain on... When did we have that rain? I guess Thursday night. And into Friday as well. A little bit of rain, not so much. Anyway, mostly, that's my first thing I wanted to talk about. But then something else presented itself on the trail, and I'll show you that later. And another thing I wanted to ask about, not ask about, but talk about living and walking around in these northern tropical forests, highland forests, we'll say. So first thing is that rain came, because it's been a bit smoky. Up where I am at about 1,000 to 1,500 meters, you know, some people might know that Chiang Mai in the north of Thailand in general can get extremely smoky. The rest of Thailand too, but up here it's quite famous for the burning and stuff. Anyway, the smoke had been building up and it was pretty bad in the city for a few days, like over 200 I think. And up here, like I said, not so bad, but you can be aware of it. I could see that it was a little bit hazy. It's way, way better. I don't know what it was. I should get a little meter actually, so I can actually know. But like I don't even think about the smoke much, except that I go into go into Chiang Mai for Kendo, right? So anyway, but the main point is that this rain cleared everything out. And it's like the air feels like you could just live on the air. That's all you need. You know? That's how, I know you can't, but that's how it feels. And it's crystal clear. And the sky's blue. It feels a little bit like southwestern Alberta on a clear day. It feels that clear and dry, and it's just magnificent. And it's like, you know, in my head, I'm thinking all these great ways to put it, but it's very difficult, right? But for me, and you know, of course, being out in nature is like priority number one, you could say. It's just a little tricky, but anyway, so it just feels like, oh, when I see this, for all the problems in the world, this is where it comes down to, right? This is where the answers are. Of course, I've always felt this way, and most people don't, and whatever, right? But anyway, that's how I feel right now. It's just like the joy of life. All that stuff comes smushing in together. It's just magnifico. And the birds are singing. Just breathe in. I can smell the rain, because it was pretty dry, and the rain on the leaves. That smell of the when I had to go in Friday to see my mom and play kendo and stuff, and it had rained all that night, and it was not really raining when I was driving down the mountain, but it was quite cool and damp, and it felt like a late summer, early fall day, depending on where you are, like say central Ontario, where some leaves had fallen, but not all of them. But there's that smell of the rain on the leaves, and it just had so many, well, you know how smells can trigger memories and that sort of thing so well. And that's what I was remembering all my times up in Killarney and in that time of year, early fall, late fall, anyway. But in this case it would be like early fall, and the smell of the wet leaves, and that, you know, the dampening down of the dryness, and I guess the dustiness from the dryness to a degree too. But just fantastic, you know. And like, I'm spending a lot of time, mostly online, really. I don't get into personal in-person battles with anyone, just online. About, you know, what I consider the crimes of our time, right? The evidence is just piling up over and over and over again, and it's... Anyway, but today, and also, whenever I go out hiking like this, that stuff is always present, but it really takes a back seat to the moment and the present of being in this incredible, the luck and privilege, or whatever you want to put it, of being in this incredible environment. These beautiful mountains, beautiful forests. I'll tell you, this place feels like home to me, right? I've spent more direct time here than pretty much anywhere else, I'd say, you know, because I live in it, right? So, you know, my brother used to call it my spiritual home, was up in the Killarney area in the southwest of Sudbury, you know. Beautiful, beautiful area. Ancient La Cloche Mountains. I got to know that area really well. I spent a lot of time off trail there, hiking the quartzite hills and the lakes and canoeing the lakes, and I miss it a lot actually. I used to go alone a lot, but I used to also go with some friends like Susanna and Graham and some other friends like Kate and JC went up once with me, and mostly alone though. And the first time I was up there was probably when I was, I don't know, 18, 17, 16? I don't know. I've been doing solo overnight treks since I was maybe 16, right? I got better at it. Those first ones when I think about it, I was like, ooh. But you know, I didn't really have a teacher, I just sort of figured it out myself. You know? Anyway, we're coming up to this next point of interest. And that is, during that storm, a tree fell down over the trail. I'm gonna flip it. There's the tree. Okay, so there's the tree. Can you see that? Yeah, there it is. You can see it fell off that. You can see the stump. It's probably about 6 feet high. My pointer. That's the top of it. That's it right there. And it just broke off. Looks pretty much like a dead tree, so that's it. And you can see there's about underneath there's about a 2.5 foot space. So here's the thing. People ask me sometimes, oh, what kind of animals do you run into? What about snakes? Snakes are the big thing here, right? Because there's some serious snakeage up in this part of the world. Truth is, I don't see a lot of snakes. Not that many. Because I travel slowly, I walk, I don't run anywhere. Not that you'd want to. So I've seen snakes up here a few times, but not that many when you consider how much time I've spent here. And tigers, I've heard that there's Indo-Chinese tigers up in this region, and I heard someone said they found some tracks up by Tapsadet Road, which is like 10 kilometers to the north of here, 10-ish. Oh, that's a crow flies. Probably takes like 40 minutes to ride there on a motorbike. But yeah. So things you consider: snakes, other animals. But I'll tell you what the real things you need to really look out for are falling branches and trees, and that happens all the time. This having a tree across the trail is nothing new. It happens all the time. So here's the quandary though, and this is why you have to consider what to do. It doesn't seem like much. I could actually I could lift over it, but my feet would be off the ground a little bit. But what's that going to do? It's lying on a slope. The other end looks pretty solid, but you just don't know. Like, it's even, like when I was coming up, I pushed it with my stick. And I can't really move it. It feels pretty solid, but you never know. You step on that and it slides, you're in trouble, right? You go underneath it and it starts sliding, you're really in trouble. So, and also what could happen, the whole thing could slide down. It could be that partway, where is the bloody tree? Here it is. It could be that partway up that trunk is a weak spot that then cracks and folds down, right? Like if it just started sliding, I would have like 2 seconds maybe to get out from underneath it. Because it's being supported up higher, and it would slide down there probably and not crush me. That's my theory. I could be wrong, right? You never know. However, what if the part where it goes over this little drop of 4 feet, what if that was weak and started to move in that crack? That would come down right on top of you, right? So these are the things to consider. So, coming up, what I did was I took my pack basket and just pushed it underneath on the other side, and then I crawled underneath the tree, right? It seems like the best option. And the thing is, when you crawl under it, first of all, you really have all your senses on full blast, right? The slightest sound, whatever, you move like hell. And also, you take care not to touch anything. Like, you just never know. Just touching that, you never know what's going to trigger it. I mean, I have, like, pushed on this just to test it a bit. I can see that I can move the other ends, but it feels pretty solid, but you just don't know, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pack off and push it under. Then I'll do more video. and then I'll slide under and we'll see how it goes. Okay, but I have to check out. I can't do this in film. Okay. So I'm just right here beside the tree. I'm about 2 feet away. My pack basket is there. I can't get it further. It's heavy now. It has like 20 kilos. It's about 20 kilos, so I can't push it any further. So I have to scoot under here, and I guess I'll just straddle the pack. It feels a little bit like I'm overplaying it, and I might be, but with this kind of thing you need to be really careful. Like even now, I'm sitting about 2 feet away, but I've got my feet braced, so if I sense any movement, I can push. In this case, I push myself backwards, or even I could jump over it, which is trickier, right? Anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to scoot under and just just straddle over that pack and get on the other side. Anyway, probably you'll know it was successful because I continued the video. Okay, and now I'm on the other side. Here I am. There's the tree. Probably at some point, because this trail, it's not used by a ton of people, but people do use it. Someone's going to come up with a chainsaw and cut that down at some point, you know. And if they don't, eventually it'll just dissolve into the forest. Like I would say like one good rainy season, it'll just crumble. Things deteriorate so quickly here. Anyway, I'm going to get my pack back on, which is a little bit tricky. It's pretty soft here. And I'll check in again. There's the tree, I'm on the other side, and now we can continue on. Anyway, I love this sort of thing. This is like the staff of life for me, right? These sort of little challenges and stuff. Love it. Anyway, this one's a fairly minor one, but you know, has the potential, right? But generally speaking, like if you're camping up through here, this is kind of wobbly actually. Hang on, okay. Yeah, if you're up camping in this kind of forest, you really, first of all, oops, I got a stick here. First of all, there ain't no guarantees, right? Like if you're camping and there's big trees around you, you need to look up, see how they look, see how strong they look. Are there any trees without leaves on them? Are there trees that look like they're rotting out on you? The one thing about this time of year is that this is the time of year here when leaves start to fall, right? Because it's starting to get dry and hot. And during the hot season, like all the teak leaves fall, and up in the mountains here, it stays really, really green though. But some trees do drop their leaves, you know. It's nothing like when you go down in the lower lands, like around Chiang Mai. It feels like fall in Canada, in like central Canada. Like no leaves on the trees at all. But it's also way hotter, like 40 degrees, which is, you know, different. Anyway, so here, it does say to be green, so you can look up and see, oh, there's no leaves on that tree, but you need to double check, and it might be a perfectly healthy tree. But at any rate, in a way it doesn't matter because you can't, well, some people probably are better than me. The people that have lived up here their whole life no doubt have a sixth sense as to what might be safer than other things, right? And in a way, maybe people don't concern themselves too much with continual safety, which is probably a good thing, right? You don't want to get into too much of a constant worry about safety. And if you're like outdoor traveling, I mean, you have to take care and be careful and be aware, right? But if you were just always worried about being safe, you'd never leave the freaking house, right? And for sure, you'd never go up in a forest, you know, a wilderness kind of situation. Not that this is wilderness here, but it's pretty wild though. It's not bad. Not a lot of wilderness left actually. Not a lot. Most of it's a compromise, but that's life. It's a compromise. Anyway, so yeah, so this is the thing, eh? Try to be aware. If you can sleep out in the open, that's really good. But out in the open, it's also hot in the direct sun, like unbelievably hot. And you know, anyway, yeah. And also, here's another factor. If you're familiar with a place, you get to know what's falling and what's dropping and all that, right? You really do get a sense of that. Like there's a place I go camping. I haven't been up. I keep saying I haven't been up, but I won't go this week coming. But I guess the following week might be my last chance to spend a night up there. Hopefully I can pull that off. Anyway, yeah. So that's that little fun thing about living in the northern tropical forests. Some people call it a jungle. Yeah, I find myself avoiding that term. I don't mean it in a real kind of woke, thing way. It's just that jungle does connote a kind of connotation in the deep dark jungle, right? Whereas in fact, because that has layers of, from a Western perspective of, I can't even say this without feeling like a woke nutcase. Anyway, has, colonialism. Oh, we're in the deep dark jungle of the Congo, and we almost died from the insects, which is all true. A woman a bit further north from here, I think, she was doing something in the forest and hit a wasp nest. Somehow got tangled up with some wasps, and that was it. She was done. She was bitten so much she died, right? That's another thing you want to be careful with. Like with, say, there's a log across the trail. Do you just stand on it? I did that once, a long time ago. Once I did that. I stood over this log, and it was enough to disturb whatever wasps were living in it. It was kind of rotting out, and they probably had a little nest inside. And holy shit. I mean, it wasn't a situation where I was gonna die. Lucky me. But they kind of came out, and I scooted out there really fast. And they were big buggers too. They giant wasps. And loud. Anyway, I scooted out pretty quick, and they just left me alone. But then I just really stepped on the log. Wasn't trying to break it up or anything. So anyway, yeah. That is a thing. Someone actually suggested I carry a little spray of bug spray, and like you'd carry bear spray in back in the Rockies and stuff. Not the worst idea I ever heard. It's making me think, well, maybe we should get a little can of insect spray. Yeah. Just a little one, you could wear it on your belt like you'd wear some bear spray. Maybe it would work on bears too. I don't think it would kill them, but not that you want to kill the bears. But anyway, blah blah blah. So that's that. That was really fun. Gorgeous day. I just overwhelmed by the clarity. Hang on. Out of juice, I should wrap this up. By the clarity of the air, even when I come out to the end of this trail, the sort of little hotel place that I walk through, I can see the mountains on the other side of Chiang Mai from there. It's been a few months since you could be able to do that. Anyway, it's stunning. Anyways, that doesn't mean there's lots going on. But let's leave it at that. I don't want to get into all the other stuff today. Just really a joy and appreciation of nature. And I keep thinking of John Moore that maybe said, in wilderness or in wildness is the preservation of the world. Like, stuff like that sounds memey, like a meme and cliche, but to me it's not a cliche. To me it's where the root of it needs to be, right? And you think of all the climate discussion is gone now, to my mind, right? It's just gone with what they're doing with the World Economic Forum, and it's so anti-nature to me, I'm not saying that climate is not an issue, and the complexities of it and the unknowns are huge, right? And every now and then I get into Greta Thunberg and anyway, let's look at this. Just look at this. Pure gorgeousness. And we're gonna head back home and yeah, do whatever. Have a great day. À la prochaine. See you on the flip side. Ciao.